Jeff Rowe from Two Hacks Garage. Well, we're back on Project Magnum CI. What used to be a 5.2 liter Magnum V8, 318 cubic inches, is now 323 cubic inches of pure Mopar power. We've machined it, we've built it all with solid internals. That's all covered in previous videos. But in the last video, John and I went to assemble the cylinder heads and we determined the guide plates were incorrect. So Houston, we had a problem. John ordered new guide plates and we got those in. So what we're going to do today is we're actually going to reassemble the heads. Actually, one of them's got to be taken apart because what we need to do is we need to measure for push rods. So with that, guys, I'm rambling. John's ready to work. But what I'm going to have John do, I'm going to have him explain what he's purchased, what we've got, and what we've got going to go on in this video. With that, let me go grab my camera. I'll be right back.
All right.
All right, John's getting some parts out, but we do have a set of sacrificial Felpro head gaskets. Because we also, probably not in this video, but we're going to check for piston and valve clearance. We got our checker springs there. This is to help check push rod length, but we're going to show a different way how to use it. Probably do both. He's got his studs. I think he might have his new guide plates. We got all kinds of fun stuff. We'll let John explain that.
All right. So as you guys saw in the last video, we had some issues with the push rods and the guide plates. So these are the comp cam guide plates. We got these from the same machine shop that we got the cylinder heads from. And the problem we had is, as you can see here, this doesn't fit very well. And when you snap it in and you run it up and down, you can see it's catching and it's scratching on the thing. And if you look, you can actually see where it's wearing off the marker. And if you look really close, you can see where it's actually wearing into the push rod itself.
No bueno.
So no good. So instead, we've picked up a set of Edelbrock guide plates. Those are going to be part 9662. And as you can see, those fit nicely. They are still smaller than the stock guide plates, which is just fine. But what we don't want is we don't want them tight like the comp cam ones where they're wearing, putting grooves in the push rods. So that's no good. So we're going to go with the Edelbrock ones and get started on this.
Nice. What kind of rocker shafts and all that did you get?
Yep. So we're going to be using Liberty Performance for the rocker arms. They are a Chevy style arm. So we've actually got them soaking in oil right now, but they are a roller rocker, much nicer than the stock stamped style rocker. And then we've got the adjustable screws in here, and we can throw the part number in the video for this as well. And then to go with that, we've got a set of comp cams studs. These will adapt the 5/16 to 3/8 so that they fit in the cylinder heads and fit with these rocker arms.
So that's what we got going on. John, I got a little bit of work to do. Yep. Magnum CI is going to be one little thumping engine. Mind you, this is a hydraulic roller cam. It's Howard's grind and Howard's lifters. These are the Magnum EQ heads. They are ported. They got all the fancy valves, all that nice stuff. So you know what, guys? I'm rambling. John's ready to work. Let's get at it. Okay, what I did there was I did not put any Loctite on these yet. I just put these in, snugged them up, and you notice we removed valve springs. These are checker springs, real lightweight, and what it allows you to do is turn the engine over and not put wear on the adjustable push rod. They're not real strong. It's just for checking length. So yeah, these are really nice. I think I got these from Comp or Edelbrock. I'm not really quite sure. Came with a kit. But yeah, that's what these are. They're checker springs. So when you're checking your valve spring height, your push rod length, you can use these. Real handy tool. Takes about 5 minutes to do. With that, we're going to get on the next step of checking for push rod length. Oh, I screwed up. Not a biggie. I actually forgot to put the guide plate on. So we're going to do that real quick. Got ahead of my
Jeff, the amateur.
Amateur, a hack. Got ahead of myself. We'll fix that. All right, guys, it's real simple what I'm doing here. We actually have the adjustable one and a stock one. What you got to do when you measure for your push rod length, there's a couple different ways. I've tried a bunch of different ways, but we're going off the method of putting the lifter on the base circle of the cam. And what I'm doing is I'm actually putting a rocker on here, and I'm centering it to the center of the valve tip. And that's what I'm doing with this adjustment here when I was adjusting the adjustable push rod. That's pushing it up this way, and I'm adjusting the roller tip on here to the middle of that valve stem. And the reason I put the black marker on there, that's allowing me to see where it's actually wearing on here. There's a whole bunch of different methods. It's actually pretty simple to do. When you actually get it centered on there, you're going to put your adjuster nut on there just a little bit, and you're not going to go overly crank tight with it. You're just going to snug it up. Obviously, there's always going to be a little play back and forth. But yeah, that's what I'm doing is I'm just checking them. I'm getting everything centered. So far, what we're seeing, I'm going to check a few of them and all that, but it looks like these are stock push rod lengths, which would make sense for what the kit that he bought. But we're going to go ahead and just keep doing this. But yeah, it's not a really hard process. You're wanting to adjust that push rod out so your roller tip is actually on the center of the valve stem. And I'm rotating the engine over, doing that to make sure that tip is not coming off the valve stem and making sure, I don't know if you can see it in the camera or not, but there's a mark on there and I can see where that thing is rolling to make sure it stays centered. So with that, guys, John and I are going to get back to work. We got a little bit more measuring to do. And yeah, we're measuring for push rod length. All right, so what we did is we measured the intake and exhaust side, did a couple different checks. One, we checked it twice with an adjustable push rod and the stock push rods. And what we came up with, it is within like a thousandths of the stock push rod length. So John, tomorrow, he's going to call and get the stock push rod length, 5/16 hardened, and they're going to be oil through. And when we get those in, we can get everything assembled. But since we do have time, and John wants to get his engine done so he can make all kinds of horsepower, break all kinds of laws, put it in his Jeep, do donuts in people's yards, all that fun stuff. We're going to go ahead and get the guide plates on here and get all that done. So that's taken care of. And when he gets his push rods in, guys, what we're going to end up doing is we are going to check for our piston to valve clearance. That'll be another video. That's actually cool. Kind of takes us back to childhood of playing with Play-Doh. With that, John and I got some work to do. See you in a few. if you're kind of wondering what we're doing here, if you look here, these guide plates, there's not a lot of room. Let me grab my camera real quick and show you what we got going on. The guide plates are pretty quality. There's just not a lot of room with the push rods. There doesn't need to be. There needs to be a little bit of clearance. We got that. But if you notice, we have quite a bit of slop around there. So what we're trying to do is we're going to set everything up dry, because what needs to happen is those roller tips need to be aligned with the valve tips in the center. And we want to make sure we get those guide plates in the right spot, so it's not, tone them in, tone them out, whatever you want to call it. We need to make sure they stay center. So we're just going to dry fit everything, make sure everything fits right. Worst case scenario, might have to take these guide plates to Jimmy's and clearance them a little bit, but we're just going to get everything dry fit and see what happens. The joys of hot rodding. John, are you having fun?
Oh, this is a blast.
He looks like he's having fun. Let's get back at it. All right, well, the good news for John is we do know the push rod length. The bad news, I'm not calling it bad news, but it's just frustrating. We had guide plate issues with the first ones, and we're having guide plate issues again with these. So what happens is we get one of these lined up, and the other one, that's not right. That's no bueno. I've been messing around playing with it, rolling stuff over. If you come up here and look, what's going on is this guide plate. So that is marked exhaust and intake. So obviously that's your intake port, and this is one for your exhaust port. One of them is staying pretty straight while this other one is not. It's actually cocking the push rod over, and that's not good. And the other part about it is it's actually rubbing the guide plate up in there. So while this is really frustrating for John, and I feel bad for him, it is the world of hot rodding. So I think what we're going to do is we measured these, and they're just a hair over 5/16, and these are 5/16 push rods. So what we're going to end up doing, I kind of marked one of these a little bit more. I'm going to take these to Jimmy's, and what we're going to do is chuck them up in his mill, and we're going to machine these out so they're just a little bit bigger. Like I said, these things have all that slop and all that, and it's kind of fighting us because, it's almost like, and I hate saying this because it's a quality product, that it was machined just a little bit too far one side to the other. I don't know. Anyway, we've been going around playing with a bunch of these, and that's what we're noticing.
We've also tried flipping these over the other way on every single one of these, and we run into the same issue.
Yeah, so John and I have been brainstorming on that, and I think the best idea is to get these machined out, and that way we got a little bit more clearance in there and we can get these straight. With that, John, how you feeling?
Well, it's a little frustrating, but, thankfully Jimmy has a mill, and we can send these over there and have him mill them off, and then we'll have some more clearance, get back, get them in. In the meantime, I can call up, get some push rods ordered, so that we will have those and be ready to go once the guide plates have been milled some.
So that is this episode of Project Magnum CI. Frustration, hot rodding, whatever you want to call it. It's all fun and games until someone loses a finger. See you in the next one.